Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cup Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are on a fantastic Sunday, wherever you are around the world, and welcome back to another Liverpool news episode for you guys this evening. And there's been a bit of news, of course, over the last 24 hours at least, anyway, and because realistically we don't have to talk about football now for the next 2 weeks, which in some sense could be good, and in another sense, of course, not. Anyway, but either way, and apologies if I do look like Casper the Ghost. I don't know why my lighting makes me look like a ghost tonight. I don't know why. But either way, of course, hopefully, like I said, all of you are having a fantastic day from wherever you are around the world. Anyway, but we are, of course, today going to be talking about three topics in tonight's episode. We are going to be talking about James Milner and should Liverpool offer James Milner a new deal. Of course, we do have some news concerning that, of course, and also other bits and pieces, including, of course, Mason Mount. We're going to be talking a little bit about him as well in tonight's episode, and we are going to be talking about Julian Ward as well. It's been officially confirmed that he will join Ajax next season. So again, some big news in that regard as well. And I want to know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below as well. And also as well, if there's anyone new around here, then don't forget, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that like button as well, and please hit the share button as well. It's very much appreciated as always. But let me dive into the chat then. And there is a poll as well in the chat as well, guys, for you lot to comment, well, to put your points across anyway. Anyway, but John's as well saying, "Bring up Connor, mate. Hope, hope you're well. Hopefully, you're having a fantastic day as well, John, as well. Couldn't read them for a minute, chap, for some reason. Mark saying, yeah, why not? As well, of course, that's, I'm guessing, going towards a new deal for James Milner. Hey, John, as well. Doug is in as well, saying hello. Evening, mate. Hope you're well. Chris, good seeing you, my friend. Obviously, John's link in the chat. Thank you, Mark, for that. For me, we should give Milner an extra year, then make him a part of the coaching team. Yeah, potentially. Of course, we are going to talk a bit about it, aren't we, in a moment. But of course, I think again, the people will have different thoughts and different opinions on the Milner situation, and I think again, it depends on where your point is on it. I think as well. Big up, Doug, as well. Says John. Quickly scroll down. Obviously, Chris's link in the comments. Thank you, Mark. Big up, Mark, mate. I hope you're well. Hello, Mark. 1892 Reds TV. Hello, Luke or Ricky. I'm guessing it's Ricky or Luke. Milner, New Deal. Fuck me. Well, yeah, maybe. This again. We don't get Jude Bellingham. We get James Milner, New Deal for 12 more months. Happy days, isn't it, chat? Happy bloody days in that regard. If I give my opinion on Milner getting New Deal, I'm in trouble. Big trouble. Obviously, 1892 Reds. I keep on wanting to say podcast as well. Obviously, the boys' link is in as well. Mark saying, I see Doak has been withdrawn from Scotland with a head injury. Yeah, he was concussed, wasn't he? Was the Champions League youth game, I believe, with Ben Doak. And again, it was pretty bad at the time. And of course, you're going to take procedure over an injury like that as well. Anyway, so practically, it was a smart thing for Liverpool. And to be honest with you as well, like I wouldn't send any Liverpool internationals to international break if I could. But again, when it's over a serious injury like a head injury, again, take precaution in that regard as well. Anyway, but we will get straight into tonight anyway, guys, and we will dive just straight in with the James Milner news or the situation, as you guys are probably here for anyway. And of course, we want to know, will James Milner stay or go at Liverpool? It's one of the conversations that is around at the moment. Obviously, we've had the likes of Naby Keita, Bobby Firmino. Would they stay? Would they go? Of course, both of them are going. But it has been confirmed that Jurgen Klopp is pushing the board at Liverpool to offer James Milner a new contract, of course, and that is coming from Peter O'Raki. I think that's pronounced how his last name, of course, from Footy Insider as well. And I think, look, I think this was something similar towards last year as well. I think you guys would have seen, obviously, the updates last year concerning James Milner new deal. It was very similar towards this, where there was rumours of Klopp pushing the board, trying to get him to have a new deal in that regard. And I think, quite honestly, I think having one more year of James Milner might be a good thing in that regard. Of course, it will depend as well on reduced wages, because of course I was looking at Liverpool's wage record, and of course James Milner's on £140,000 per week at the moment. So you'd think there would be some reduced terms in those negotiations if that was to be the case. And I think realistically I think it relies on two things. A, can Liverpool do that? Can they get the reduced requirements for James Milner? And does James Milner want to stay an extra year? Does he want to potentially go somewhere else? Does he want to finish his career at Leeds? That we've spoken about the last 2-3 years that could potentially happen as well. And I think if you offer Milner a new deal, it won't get in the way of a rebuild. If anyone would be concerned with that, I don't think it would potentially be something like that or around that. I just think that having him for one more year and then saying either goodbye or having him on the coaching team, I think would be a lot better, especially with new players coming in the door as well. And again, James Milner's had to be relied on this season because players have been injured. And again, he's been there, he's been reliable, he's been there for the best part of it anyway. And for me, I personally would give him a 1 year deal, but it's that sense that I know a lot of people will say no. I'm looking in the chat right now, and I can see people saying no, don't want a contract extension, and so on. And just judging off the poll as well, again, of 64% says yes, 36% saying no. So again, I think plenty of people will have different thoughts, different opinions on it. But if Jurgen Klopp is pushing for the board to do it, I'd say the board don't want to give him a new deal, if that is the case. But still, I could be reading that wrong. I don't know if you guys are thinking that I'm reading that wrong. But if Jurgen Klopp wants to keep him for a further year, give him what Jurgen wants in that regard. But again, there was also something that come up, I think yesterday, I believe, saying that, of course, Milner has spoken to Klopp and said that the final decision will be made over the months. Now, it won't be, this is the international break. It's going to get done right here. I think there's going to be conversations during this international break, and then at the end of the season to see, where things are at. And I don't think we will hear anything concrete or hear anything from the club until the end of the season in that regard. So again, it'll be a bit frustrating. Like, what is he doing? Is he going to go? Is he going to stay? Liverpool going to give him another year as well. So again, it won't be a quick we'll know answer type thing. But again, James Milner, I think, should be given a 1 year deal. Again, keep him around the club for an extra year and then see what happens in that regard as well. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below as well. Anyway, but obviously, boy saying hi to John as well. John's in as well, saying big up. Hello, John. Hopefully, not John, sorry, Jordan. Hopefully, you're on a fantastic day, my friend. I think it's insanity to give Milner a new deal. We are treating him like he's Rocky Balboa, continuing Rocky sequels, returning to the ring, fighting in the wheelchair. I love him, but cut ties now. I get what you mean, Chris, but I think that, again, you're seeing him being a lot more around the under 21s. You're seeing him, of course, Hendo as well. I do agree that I think Milner, when Milner does eventually go, whether that be this summer or next summer, I think Jordan Henderson that moves into that James Milner type role, if that makes sense. Again, but number one, he'll be a midfielder. But I think obviously right back, left back, I think maybe Jordan Henderson might get moved into that role potentially. I think more so right back than anything. I don't think we'll see Jordan Henderson play left back. I don't think we've ever seen Hendo assist with his left foot. I could be wrong in that regard. With more games, why not keep him a good backup player as well? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with it, on Mark. Hey Jordan, hope you are well, says Mark. So 6-4, 6-4 in yes. I don't know what that's in regard to. Milner new deal would be shambolic. We need to rebuild, says Eamon as well. Yeah, I can get what people are saying. I just don't think it would affect a rebuild, if that makes sense. I could be wrong, but I don't think it would, in my honest opinion. Anyway, but did Milner not take a pay cut down to 70k, mate? Nope, not according to the wage bill. Looking at it right now, yeah, where is he to? James Milner, £140,000 per week. So yeah, again though, this list could be wrong, and I'm not saying it is wrong or it's right, but um, in me also saying that, I think that it is around £140,000 per week anyway that he is on. But again, I could be wrong in that regard. Anyway, but let's keep reading your comments. Ravi's in as well, saying nah, after him, now offer him a coaching role, not playing as well. I think player coach, I think might be I think probably best as well. Evening all. I hope Millie sticks around and does his coaching badges. I think he's already doing them, isn't he? I think he said it on Sky Sports. I think back 2-3 months ago. I think now he said that he was well into his coaching badges. So again, that's a good thing as well. And of course, there's no better no better manager to have it off as it than Jurgen Klopp as well. But big up everyone as well. So it's Ravi, hopefully on a fantastic day. Hello Anna and Ravi as well. Hi Mark as well. Big up Ravi. Mate, hope you're well. Mark asked what's his thoughts on the Salah. What's your thoughts on all the Salah rumours? Nonsense. If I'm being honest with you. I don't think there's anything in it, if I'm being honest. I've seen a couple of people going crazy about it because they were like, "Oh yeah, like that, how much would he be?" And they were and seen a couple of people on Twitter going, "Oh well, then we should start to think of how much we could get for Mohamed Salah," and I'm like, it's just not true. Like, I think obviously, I think people are, myself included in this, I think are a bit too rash. But then again, when you see the United, the result in that, and just a few other bits and pieces, it's then you look at it and you're like, yeah, Mo is Mo. And look, this summer would be probably the only time you could sell Mo for a big fee or a relatively pricey fee, I should say, anyway. But no, I don't think he's going to go anywhere. If I'm being honest with you, I think he will. I think he will leave on a free. If he is going to leave the club, he'll leave on a free. When his contract runs out in 2 years' time. I can't see Liverpool selling him. If they were to sell him, I would be massively surprised in that regard. Anyway, turn that down. There we go. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts as well on the Salah situation as well. But I would keep Milner to do coaching badges, but I wouldn't keep him in a player, in my opinion as well. That's fair enough. I think that again, people will have different thoughts and opinions as well. If he's on 140k, then only way you can keep him is if he goes down to 50 or 60k. Yeah, again, I think James Milner and Liverpool aren't stupid as well. I think quite obviously James Milner would be the last resort player again, like he has been this season. I think people again, it's like I said, I think people have been very stupid in going, oh well, why is Milner starting in 2020 2023, because he's had to. We've had no other player. Look at the other day against Madrid. You can't trust Naby Keita. There's no one else that can play a DM style position apart from James Milner. So he has to play, because of course Jordan Henderson and Stefan Bajcetic are out injured. And that's the thing where James Milner shouldn't be playing over 20 games a season now. He shouldn't be. He should just be playing the odd 10 to 15. But he's having to play a lot more than he's supposed to, because, again, the players that are above him in the pecking order can't be trusted. And that's the problem, and that's what needs to be rebuilt. And again, that's a whole other conversation in terms of player management, in terms of fitness, in terms of availability. Again, we'd be opening up a whole can of worms in that regard as well. But Mark, I can maybe see Salah going if we don't get Champions League next season. I hope I am wrong as well. Yeah, I think people said that. I think there was a Champions League clause that was spoken about as well, which, again, I don't have a clue if there is that. Yeah, I can't see it, but if it would free a lot of funds up, it would. But again, it's ridiculous, isn't it? So any new people watching some amazing channels, the links in the chat. Yeah, thank you very much, Mark, for that. Again, brilliant mod, top mod, I should say as well. So thank you very much for putting all the links in the chat. No squad player should be on 140k a week. It's ridiculous. That's the thing, though. Now, Eamon, that's the going price. Realistically, it's, again, I agree. No, I don't think any player should be on 140k a week, but that's how it goes at the moment. Like you look at City, look at their wages, look at United, their squad players are on probably maybe a bit less than that, but are on that same wavelength in that regard. It's not good. Let's be honest, it's not that good. But yeah, again, I think James Milner he's a good option to have when needed, but it is that sense of, if we're talking 140, 100 k a week in that regard, then Liverpool need to go. No, it needs to be around 50, 60, 70,000 a week. Because, again, obviously what we're going to talk about in a minute with Mason Mount, you're looking at bringing in players around that 40 million mark that's going to be wanting a high end wages as well, in that regard as well. Everyone, please make sure to smashing that like button. It helps more than you think. Yeah, massively helps the algorithm out, as always. Not many under them prices, I guess, as well. Yeah, no, exactly. I think that there's two areas, I think, with it. I think you've got your youth players coming up to the first team that are on around the low thousands a week, like tens of like 10 plus thousand or whatever. Then you've got your senior players, and then you've got your elite players in terms of, like, you're looking at us, Mo, Ali, Virgil, in that regard as well. So again, that's how a club works. Obviously, if that overall price margin, where I think it was Moises Caicedo was on like $3,500 a week. If that was true, then Jesus Christ, Brighton was very, very good there. But again, Liverpool the wage bill needs to come down a lot, and it does. And plus, with Ox going, with Naby going, with Bobby going, Adrian going as well, you would have thought, again, there's a massive amount of wages that are going to be freed up in the summer. So again, there will be funds in that regard made up, but again, with players coming in the door, or suspected players coming in the door, like we suspect that is going to happen in the summer, again, the wage bill is most likely going to be the same, there or thereabouts. Yeah, not impressed with this Mount deal as well. We'll get on the Mason Mount in a moment. Chat as well, but let me know your guys' thoughts on James Milner as well. And again, I'm just looking at the poll now, 53% now at saying no. So again, I think obviously people again will have different thoughts and opinions, and again it's right to have different thoughts, different opinions. Like for me, I think Liverpool should give him a new deal. I know all you guys in the chat think that he shouldn't be given a new deal. So again, that's fair enough. Kelleher and Nat will leave too. Yeah, I think Kelleher's a bit different. Where I think Nat Phillips will leave 100%. And I think if Liverpool can get a replacement at centre half, I think Joel Matip will also be gone in the summer. Kelleher, I don't think will be leaving. I don't know why, but I just don't like. I was looking at it yesterday in terms of the goalkeepers that Liverpool could get. I'm not sure, but still, definitely one to look out for the summer. Anyway. But anyway, we are going to move on and we are going to talk about Mason Mount. Of course, the rumours are just building up day in, day out concerning Mason Mount, a potential move to Liverpool Football Club. Again, I think the rumours this weekend were even saying the fact that he has chosen Liverpool or wants to choose Liverpool as his first team if he is to leave Chelsea. But the interesting part around the Mason Mount situation is that he has got himself a new agency. Of course, Fabrizio Romano reporting that Mason Mount has now appointed Neil Fewings as a new agent. Agreement done weeks ago. I understand it's very likely that he will leave Chelsea in July. Fewings will now help Mount in talks, as first called by Matt Hughes as well. But what is also interesting with this as well, Mason Mount has joined the same agency as Jordan Henderson and Virgil van Dijk. So again, we know how the agents like to work, and we know how very much Liverpool, like to use that to their advantage in that regard. Of course, with players, speaking to other players and so forth. So again, it does look, yeah, day by day, it does look like Mason Mount will leave Chelsea. I think it's been quite open from both sides at the moment that if there isn't a deal that's going to get struck, I think quite obviously he is going to be leaving Chelsea. I think the big question marks, not only for Liverpool but in terms of the rest of Europe, is how much is he going to cost? Of course, 1 year left in his deal. He won't be on a free transfer, like many people thought probably a couple of months ago. Again, he does have 1 year left on his deal, and I think that it does very much remind me of the Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain scenario, where he's going to leave the club. We knew that again, Ox wanted to leave Arsenal in that regard, and Liverpool came in. I think it was around 35, 40 million back 5-6 years ago, and of course, Ox in that 17-18 season was amazing. And I feel like, again, for me personally, I wouldn't want Mason Mount. And that's my opinion. Again, other people might have a different opinion. I know Jack, he'd love Mason Mount at Liverpool when we've spoken about it in previous videos. And if Jurgen wants him, if Jurgen thinks that he could potentially, move him, could do something with him in that regard, then I'd say fair enough. Again, I didn't think Gini Wijnaldum would have worked out at Liverpool. I was wrong. I was happily wrong that Gini Wijnaldum worked at Liverpool, and again was phenomenal at his time at the club. And that's what I'm hoping again happens with Mason Mount. Again, 24 years of age. Again, has time to develop his game. Of course, goal scoring midfielder. I think I was speaking to a couple of Chelsea fans. I think back last week, and they were saying that he carried Chelsea over not last season, the season before, and the season before that, and the last year, the last season, it's been a little bit like Mason Mount's been forgotten at Chelsea in that regard, and you can see why he potentially wanted to move on, because of course Chelsea have been trying to offer him this new deal for a while now. So again, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. For me, again, I'm not a fan of the Mason Mount deal, as I think some of you guys have said as well in the chat. For me, though, if Jurgen Klopp, would like him and thinks that he's the one, then fair enough. If it is, potentially him and a certain other English midfielder, then sound. As long as Jurgen wants it, then I am happy in that regard anyway. But Mark saying, do you think Mount will struggle getting playing time at Chelsea? Yes, I do think he would, especially considering Chelsea are looking again at positions that he plays in. So again, attacking midfielder, left hand side, right hand side of a three. Mount looks to be slowly going down the pecking order, which again, I don't think people and Chelsea fans and supporters in general, I don't think would have seen that coming over the last 2-3 years potentially. So again, it's that thing, and again, with it being a potential like brilliant signing, I think again Jurgen will want to work with Mason Mount. Mason Mount will want to work with Jurgen Klopp. It's just the fact again, it does rely on Champions League again. So I don't know in regards to that as well. But Mason Mount's current value, transfer value, is between 55 million euros and 91 million euros. That's the thing again that is the big problem, isn't it, Mark and chat? Is the fact that what is Mount's asking price in that regards? And I just think Chelsea, again, we've seen Chelsea buying players for ridiculous money. We haven't seen Chelsea try and sell a player yet under the new ownership. We haven't seen anyone, going in particular for a Chelsea player. We haven't seen that yet. So I'm just a bit curious to see what happens in that regard. To be fair, but price will be driven up for us as well. Yeah, 100%. Mark, what's your channel as well? I believe Mark doesn't have a channel. I could be wrong though. Hi Connor as well. Hello Brian. Hopefully I'm a fantastic day, my friend. Don't have one as well. Lol as well. Should have one, Mark. Absolutely. Hi Mark as well. Ravi says, yo, big up. Nah, not Jude or Mount. They don't offer Liverpool us anything. Just cope out from the club. If they get them when we should have got them better. I think we'll get Jude. Of course, there is a video coming up about that as well. But again, I still think Liverpool get Jude even without Champions League. But again, I could be deluded and wrong in that regard. But I think more than anything, I think Jude Bellingham. I think Liverpool want Jude Bellingham more than anything at the moment. So again, I think I think Mason Mount again will be down the pecking order. Obviously, Jude Bellingham is number one no matter what. But then again, it's the who's next after that in that regard. Mount is something special. I don't rate him. I don't need it in that regard. But again, like I said, if Jurgen Klopp wants him and it works, then we are all wrong in that regard. Mount is worth what a club is prepared to pay. 12 months left, 35 million, in my opinion. I think you are looking around that. I think realistically, and of course, I'm saying realistically, like if Chelsea are realistic in their transfer strategy, 35 to 40 million would be the acceptable price. The problem is Chelsea are probably looking at more 50, 60 million, which I don't think. I do think maybe a United comes in for him like that. But again, I did say at the start of this whole Mason Mount rumor and suggestion that I did think that it was just to bolster his contract negotiations with Chelsea, but it does feel now that it's more and more likely he is going to be leaving Chelsea, especially now the fact he's got a new agency as well. Then of course the agency's been brought in to look at everything and to potentially move him on. Don't have time, support too many, and not just football law as well. Absolutely. Mark as well, but yeah, Mark is top mod as well. Jude is crap. He's not good at what makes him so good. The league he plays in isn't great level. I disagree wholeheartedly with that. Watched Jude the World Cup. Was probably him and Enzo Fernandez were probably the best midfielders in the competition. I would say anyway. And that's I'm Welsh, so it's me saying that about an English player, then Jesus Christ. But yeah, I know. I think Jude Bellingham is it. Um, but again, I know if Ricky is still in here, I know Ricky's probably screaming at the screen saying just being a lot of rubbish because, of course, I know Real Madrid, of course, are very much wanting him as well. So again, of course, we'll finally know after this international break as well what's going to happen. But again, hopefully it'll be good in Liverpool's way. Anyway, but we are going to move on from Mason Mount. We are going to talk about, of course, Liverpool's sporting director at the moment. Of course, he is set to leave at the end of the season. We are going to be speaking about Julian Ward and the news that has officially come out that suggests that he is going to be signing for Ajax in the summer, as taking up a similar role, well, as the Mirror is reporting anyway, and of course Simon Mullock as well reporting that Liverpool sporting director Julian Ward has sealed a deal to take up a similar role with Dutch giant Ajax in the summer as well. So again, of course, Julian Ward, part of very crucial deals for Liverpool Football Club over the last couple of seasons. Of course, got the Luis Diaz deal done and dusted, got the Darwin Núñez deal done as well, and a numerous amount over the last probably 18 months to 2 years in that regard. But of course, there was the whole start to everything in terms of why he's leaving Liverpool. It was due to family reasons and due to him wanting to spend more time with his family. But now, of course, it does. Well, and it is confirmed that he will be joining Ajax, which, again, you look at the system at Ajax, I think it's probably perfect for him in that regard, because again, it's relying on young talent in that regard in terms of, again, the scouting department there is up there with Europeans' best. I think bringing in talent and bringing in regards to again, you look at the last couple of world stars that's come out of there. Obviously, De Ligt, Frankie De Jong, and again so many more as well. So again, that type of system around there will probably be good for him. But again, in terms of Liverpool, it does a little bit ask you, what went wrong at Liverpool with Julian Ward. Now, of course, Julian Ward's been at Liverpool for the last, I think, 5, 6, 7 years. I believe, obviously, Michael Edwards was at Liverpool for 10 plus years, but of course, Julian Ward was the number 2 for a very long time under Michael Edwards. So, again, he's been here for a very long time. He just hasn't been the head of the department for very long. Of course, it's been around 2 years since he's been the head or the sporting director at Liverpool Football Club. Anyway, so of course, hopefully, he goes on to have a fantastic career at Ajax, but still, of course, Liverpool still have to find a replacement for all that. And again, at the moment, there isn't a clear contender at the moment that is practically going to be, getting that job. Of course, we've had rumors. Of course, that obviously that person from Monaco that has escaped my mind at the moment. Of course, he was linked, but that's quite down quite a lot over the last couple of weeks. So again, it'll be interesting. But of course, what we know is that Liverpool's plans for this summer have been the plans for a very long time. So again, nothing should be affected anyway. But of course, they always have that to fall back on if something does go wrong in that regard anyway. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts. Obviously, with Julian Ward going to Ajax as well. But this what's annoying me with Klopp and FSG. They want second best players and not taking their club seriously. I disagree with that. I disagree with the Jurgen part. I think Jurgen wants obviously the best. Obviously, last season wanted Tuchemani, couldn't get him. And again, I think Klopp wants number one targets. It's just who is there and who's available. Of course, Liverpool are not going to spend stupid money, but still, in that regards. I disagree in terms of Klopp. I do agree with FSG. Um, Fernandez, I feel, was ideal for us. Should have gotten him a big price. I know it's it's mad. I was listening to when he moved to Chelsea. I was listening to a Benfica podcast, and they were saying the fact they managed to beat Liverpool for Enzo Fernandez in the summer. Enzo Fernandez joined Benfica over Liverpool because he felt like um, he could not get first team football at Liverpool. And I'm like, now looking at it, and I'm like, yeah, he would have. He would have got first team football at Liverpool this season. So again, things happen the way they do. But again, what was it, 108 million pounds? Again, ridiculous money in that regard as well. But playing around and Jude Bellingham is the one that for me he's an average baller. I disagree. If I'm being honest, Ravi. Julian Ward was good, but not as good as Edwards. I 1000% agree with that. Good luck to us, Liverpool winning the big trophies, getting Mount and Jude as well. Fair enough, Ravi. Darwin won't be back for City or Chelsea. Yeah, he will. I think he will be. Again, he hasn't cut in his foot, done he? So, and again, we don't know the the details on it. That's all we know is he's got a cut on his foot, and that's about it. No, but that's all we know. But yeah, I think he should be back for City. Hopefully, anyway. But Brian saying I prefer the good old days when nobody had any idea of these players and we were just signing players. Yeah, again that's the ones that I miss. I love the Fabinho transfer. I adore transfers. Like I think we all do. It's like Cody Gakpo, for example. We didn't know that Liverpool were going to go for Cody Gakpo. Random tweet from Paul Joyce saying that Liverpool have agreed a fee with PSV, and you're like, where's this come from? And yeah, like those 24 hours, 48 hours, and even going 72 hours felt amazing, didn't it? And then Liverpool had to play a game of football and we lost. So again, the ideal feeling was gone in that regard. Allison, VVD, LOL, they were known players as well. No, they were known players, but again, like your Fabinho's, your Gakpo's, in that regard as well. And again, there will be, I think there will be at least one deal that nobody would have thought Liverpool would go for in the summer, maybe. But again, I could be wrong in that regard. Maybe we just sign everyone that we've been linked to, which is about, what, 5,000 midfielders and about uh, 5 defenders in that regard, anyway. I would take Mount personally. He's a young, hungry player who needs a manager. Will have confidence in him. Klopp is perfect for him. He's a workhorse as well, says Chris. We need workhorses in midfield, not a red carpet security guards as well. That's what we've been this season, to be fair. When Wijnaldum first signed for Liverpool, I remember majority of Liverpool fans debating the signing and look at what he became for us. Very underrated. Yeah, absolutely. 1000% agree with you on that, Chris. Again, I was one of them. When he signed for Liverpool, I was like, why are we signing a left winger? You know, we don't need that. In that regard. But again, turned into midfielder and performed absolutely brilliantly, didn't he? And again, like as Chris said, very underrated for Liverpool. And again, look how much we've missed him since he's gone. So again, we need a midfielder like that to drag us out of games, working your arse off, and just bring the intensity back to Liverpool's midfield. That's what we need. And we've been missing it for a while. Mount and Jude have not done a lot at England either, says Mark. I think they play one game together in the World Cup. Was it the World? I forgot what game they played together. They played one game. Remember that? No, I mean, I miss the days when we know who the manager was, and that's it, not the celebrity DFO. We all know now. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, players are superstars now. That is true. That's very, very true. Don't help with Leaf Clover Boy Southgate as England manager. Southgate's again. I still don't get how he's England manager, but again, I think the big question is who's going to be England manager after Southgate. I think that's the big worry. I think for England at the moment, we'll be fighting for top four for foreseeable unless FSG fork out the money for Klopp as well. Yeah, absolutely agree. Anyone as well. Again, this summer is very crucial to whatever Liverpool do over the next 2, 3, 4 seasons. Um, Liverpool have to go all out, and it should not matter if Liverpool get Champions League this season or if we just miss out or whatever. If Liverpool get Europa League, whatever this season, next season's summer should not be affected by that. Liverpool have to go all out in the summer to rebuild it, because if you want to go back to consistent Champions League football and fighting more towards the north end of the table, then you have to go for it. I think anyway. So again, obviously we'll see over the next 4 or 5 months. And again, if FSG let Klopp down, I think there will be an uproar about it. The England job is nowhere near as big as it used to be. Absolutely, was it ever that big though, Bright? In that regard, or was it just overhyped? Um, Still see Gerrard as England boss would suit him as well. Could you imagine the FA allowed a Scouser to referee, not to referee, sorry, to manage an England side? Jesus Christ, they would be turning into themselves in that regard as well. But again, I'd love to see it. I think though Stevie's meant to be doing the Polish job, isn't he? I think, but again, I'm not entirely sure if that is confirmed or anything. But bring me Jude Mount, says Ricky as well. Matthias Nunes, Rick, as well. We need to bring him into the conversation. Whatever the motivation, club asking for new contract for Milner is just really stupid. It goes against every footballing reason. I'm sure this was leaked. This was leaked by the board, probably. Maybe, yeah. I think again, I personally think though Albert Liverpool should be giving him a new deal, because, like I said, I think obviously Milner will be at the bottom of the list in terms of pecking order for the team, but once again, the players in front of him haven't been reliable enough to start or play, and that is the big problem for me. You get that right, then sound keep Milner for the last 10 minutes of a game, or keep him for an important moment. Say if Trent's on a yellow card and he's getting battered, potentially bring on Milner in that regard. But I do think that again, if it's going to be on the high end of the wages and going to be around that, it's what it is at the moment, then yeah, I would agree in that regard. But we be back next season if Klopp is backed rightly, 100%. I thought 1,000% in that regard. No, rather Ugarte as well. Yeah, I would agree. I would massively rather Ugarte. Watching him against Arsenal on Thursday, yeah, there's no doubt Ugarte would be phenomenal for Liverpool. What, Ugarte, Jude Bellingham, Mason Mount in a three together? Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, as well. Oh, yeah, he rejected. Oh, there we go. Gerrard rejected Poland. I didn't know that. Jude, Mount, Nunes, that's the three with the most noise around them as well. Yep, it is at the moment. But like I said, I would agree with Ricky as well in terms of Ugarte. I think he's the one that potentially could be the one that, like we said about the surprise transfer, I think you are looking more around that in that regard. Um, Chris still think it will take a few seasons. It will take a few seasons. I think if he's backed correctly this summer, I think we get back into the top four. Consistently, or we'll be in that third space, I would say. I think if we don't, quite clearly, then you're talking, we're going to be fighting for Europa League next season. Um, but yeah, it's that sense of this summer is huge in that regard. But the buck stops at the manager. Klopp needs to demand support from FSG. 100%. Eamon, I absolutely agree. If I give him this year, will you continue next year? When is the cut-off point using leadership excuse? I think the cut-off point is next year, because I think this season or this summer, I think it's getting the past couple of seasons we have talked about squad in terms of, of course, we need midfielder, depth in that regard, and bringing in the likes of Harvey Elliott, Fabio Carvalho, and then being youngsters to bring up. I think now is starting 11. I think Milner comes into that bracket of just squad rotation, and with it, for example, I think if Naby had one more year on his deal, or if Ox had one more year on his deal, I think Milner might have gone. I would have said, but because the two of them are going, I don't think Klopp can afford to have Milner going as well. But again, it's not. I'm not saying and what come out. It's not saying it will officially happen. But again, Klopp wants him to sign a new deal in that regard as well. But yeah, hashtag officially out. Hi Mark as well. We said at the end of the 2021 season, after we challenged for for 4 trophies, let's see what happens next season. If it's the same as this season, then I will panic as well. Yeah, we did say that, to be fair. Gavardal 2 as well. Yeah, we did Gavardal. But again, I don't think Gavardal's going to be going anywhere until next season. I don't think he's going anywhere. Feel there is too much to do. Not even got the club sorted with the income we need with the share deal as well. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with players like that. And last comment of the video then, because I do have to head off now as well, guys, as well. Players like Marcus Thuram, Asensio, and Indika, there we go. I couldn't read Indika's name there. Are available on a free. Let's concrete some of those deals. Albert, I would take Indika off that list because he's going to Barcelona. That's got confirmed a very long time. No, probably about a month or two ago, it got confirmed that he's going to Barcelona. I think it was agreed and everything was signed, or like it was practically confirmed between Indika and Barcelona. But I don't think anything is officially signed. But he will be going to Barcelona in the summer. Anyway, but again, Marcus Thuram, I think obviously, I think he's one hell of a player. But still, I know obviously I was speaking to Ricky earlier on about the French league. I think there's a couple of good players in the French league that Liverpool might even look at in the summer that cost around 20 million, 25 million, there or thereabouts. But again, Liverpool, I feel like Liverpool are going to be looking for one expensive purchase, one little bit, around the 50, 40 million pound mark, and then they're going to be looking for something really, really cheap. I just don't think anything in particular will happen in that regard anyway. But still, the club position in the league will affect certain players and wants as well. Yeah, absolutely. Barca can't pay him. They need to shed 200 million. I have seen this, but then I have also seen that it's done. So again, just look at Gavi, for example. Gavi's going to be going from Barcelona. So if he is available at Albert, I'd say 100% sign Indika. I said it a couple of weeks ago on a video. Liverpool should sign Indika 100%, and like comment and chat as well. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Brave, for being in, and thank you to all of you guys as well for tuning in to tonight's show. Of course, we've spoken about James Milner, we've spoken about Mason Mount, and of course, we've spoken about Julian Ward as well in tonight's episode. If you guys haven't checked out, if you haven't checked out the video before, then go back, watch everything that we're talking about. Of course, we're about Milner's new deal, Mason Mount's new agency, and of course, Julian Ward joining Ajax as well for their new sporting director role as well. So, again, a few interesting stories tonight, of course. Like I said, we'll know more, I think, on Liverpool's transfer situation in the next couple of weeks. Certainly because there's an international break. It's around now where we find out, where Liverpool will be standing in the summer as well. But yeah, looking at the poll, I've just looked at the poll. Thank you, Mark, for putting that in. Yes, 67% says no to to James Milner's new deals. So the chat has spoken as well. So again, guys, if you're new around here as well, then please hit the like button. Please hit that subscribe button as well. If anyone, all of you guys, you could please share out as well. Very much appreciated as always in that regard. Anyway, so but it's still, thank you very much for the support on the videos, and thank you very much for tuning in to tonight's show. Anyway, but yeah, I've been Connor from the COP Council. I'll hopefully see you all tomorrow, and ta-ra.